Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. People are going to be trickling in. So welcome to Bio 35. You guys are here for physiology. This is not chemistry, even though I made those couple mistakes in my syllabus and on a couple of assignments already. Is that right? Everybody here for Bio 35?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What class is Bio 35?
Physiology.
Physiology. Okay, so anybody know what physiology is?
Study of the functions of the body.
Study of the function of the body. Okay, that's good. That's actually pretty much it. Okay, so with anatomy, you're actually learning about the anatomy. You're learning about all the different muscles, the bones, and those extent. Physiology, you're going to learn the function of those muscles, those bones, and also of the body in general. So we're going to be looking at a lot of the chemical aspects of things, and then how those chemical aspects send signals and form and cause actions to happen. Okay, so you're getting behind the scenes. So how many of you guys are taking anatomy or have already taken anatomy?
I have.
I'm taking anatomy.
I took it last semester.
You took it last semester. So we're going to have some overlap, but it's going to be minimal because, again, this is physiology. And you have a whole nother course that is anatomy. Megan, can you not hear me? You can type in the chat. Can you hear me, Megan? I guess we lost her. She'll come back. Oh, Megan, you're back. She's coming. She's coming back. Okay, so the reason I'm calling this meeting is one thing I can say that we met this week to kind of get us started. This is my first time teaching physiology, so you're going to see a lot of errors initially, but we're going to try to get those worked out a little bit early so that we won't have the issues like we had this week where half you guys were emailing me. I missed the date for the kit. I didn't see that, yeah, you did miss the date for the kit because the kit hasn't even been made yet. You haven't missed it yet. The actual date for you guys getting your kit will be the 27th. Some of you guys are a little bit far away from me, like Lancaster. Lancaster is, you said, 3 hours away. No, I'm not driving all the way to Lancaster to deliver kits. Sorry, I like you and all. So under those circumstances, excuse me. Under those circumstances, we're going to mail out part of the kit to you, but you're going to be responsible for picking up a little. Do you think you can do that in Lancaster?
I can do that. I have a 2-year-old that would love a goldfish. So
excellent.
I
Great.
can do that.
So those who are close by, you guys are going to come by, pick up the goldfish and your kit. Okay? So the dates are going to be, it's going to be the 27th. It's going to be a Saturday. I know that some of you guys work and things like that. If you can't make those dates, if you let me know, we can set up a time for you to either come to Hanford to pick up your kit, or I do a lot of traveling from Linga to Fireball. We can set up a day that I'm doing traveling that I could drop off your kit. So I'm willing to work with you guys for those who cannot make those dates, particularly. But you got to let me know. You got to talk to me. You can't wait till the last minute to say, oh yeah, Dr. Henry, I couldn't make it. So let me know in advance and we can work something out. I am pretty flexible, especially when it's my first time teaching a course. I'm trying to get things under my belt myself. So I'll be flexible with the assignments for the most part to some extent. I mean, if you're a month late in turning something in, that's something different, And then a lot of times, like as I said, there are going to be errors because this is my first time teaching a course. So there are going to be errors on Zoom. So you guys are not on Zoom, on Canvas. You're going to have to correct me a lot of times. So since you guys are here, I have a very, very tight schedule. Let me share my schedule with you so you guys get an idea of my schedule. And right now, you guys are set to do your Zoom lectures at 1 o'clock on Mondays and Thursdays. Now, your first thing that you're going to ask me, are these required? Right? Wasn't that going to be your first question? Yeah. Okay. So the answer to that is no, they are not required. They're strongly recommended because I find that students that they're typically more engaged will attend the Zoom lectures, and they'll typically do better than those students who are kind of less engaged that are just trying to do everything online. The course is designed for you to be able to do everything online, but as students, you guys get busy, distracted, lazy, all those things, and you don't tend to keep up with the work. But when you're in class, I'm constantly reminding you, hey, yeah, you gotta do that assignment. Hey, yeah, you gotta get this done. And we kind of go over that material, gives you an overview. Megan, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know.
No, it's
What was
okay.
going
Don't worry
on?
about it.
Sorry.
Well, welcome to the age of technology. If it doesn't break, you know,
Much
it
advancement.
has been an interesting year, you know.
Sorry.
Okay, so let me share my schedule with you so you guys get an idea of what you're working with. And so I have you guys slated already for a time slot, but we can modify that time slot with one other spot, okay? And I'll leave it up to you guys since you guys actually showed up for the meeting. And the other people will just have to, you know, accept it the way that they were accepting the 1 o'clock. Okay, can you guys see my schedule here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So right now, this is the way my schedule looks. So I set aside time for my course prep. So that's flexible. That means that I could sit there and modify and I could switch your course with it. Right now, your course is set up at 1 o'clock. Your lectures are set up from 1 to 2:30. It's about an hour and a half for 2 days. I like doing that because we're doing everything via Zoom. And I don't know about you, but really, to be totally honest, about 30 minutes into the lecture, I start tapping out, even though I'm the one that's doing the talking. So I figured that after 15 minutes during the lecture, you guys are already tapping out. And I could be wrong about that. You know, you guys may have very great attention span online, but I know that for me, if I do anything over an hour, hour and a half, I'm not remembering half the stuff after. And so I like to try to keep the lectures to about an hour and a half. Okay. So I have it broken up over 2 days to sit there and do that. So it'll be Monday and Wednesday in this case. And then your lab right now is slated to be at 2:30 to 4:30. Now, you guys are basically doing simulations for the most part. Most of your labs are going to be coming from this book. You guys have this book already? Or coming from this subscription. There's an online subscription to this course. This is the manual for that online subscription. I believe it's $39.95 or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But you guys need to make sure that you get the subscription to this because you'll be doing labs from here. Next week, we won't be doing a lab next week, but the week after that, we'll be starting doing the lab. You want to make sure that you get checked as soon as you can possibly get it. Okay. I know that most of us get our money the first of the month, so that's part of the reason why I'm going to wait until after that next week to sit there and do it. Okay. So your textbook is technically online, but you can get a physical copy. I bought this physical copy for $39, right? So that's pretty cheap for a book. I like physical copies because I like to write in stuff and underline stuff and you know, put it underneath my pillow, hopefully that I can learn it by osmosis, you know, those things. So you guys see that? Okay. So now you know that your course is going to be, again, primarily simulations. However, you guys are going to have a couple of physical labs. It's going to be about 4 or 5 physical labs. They're all going to pretty much be pertaining to the goldfish. So we're going to be talking about certain like systems, the respiratory system, those things. And then, so we're going to be using those goldfish for that. Now, the thing is that we don't want to kill our goldfish. We want to keep our goldfish alive, right? And you guys, I've already collected all your goldfish. That little tank there contains every last goldfish. Excuse the messiness of my room. I've been preparing for your labs, and so I've been doing it in my room. So each of you guys will get a goldfish. Again, we're trying to keep them alive. We also don't want to torture them, right? So some of the experiments we're going to be doing will make them uncomfortable, but it won't kill them. It won't torture them. So in one case, you're going to be feeding them caffeine. How do you guys respond to caffeine?
Love it.
Love it, right? Oh God, I need my caffeine. If I don't have my caffeine, my head starts hurting, everything like that, right? So we're going to play with the goldfish. Now, the same thing happens with the goldfish. It's going to be important that you guys pay attention to the concentration that you're providing for the goldfish. A lot of the things that you guys are going to be getting, particularly for those people that are further away, is going to be provided in a powder form. So you're going to be diluting it. So you're going to have to be able to do concentration. And we will talk about those things so that you'll be able to do a little bit of chemistry. I know chemistry is not required for this course, so I will be walking you through that process because we don't want our goldfish to die from caffeine, right? Or anything like that, or eating too much, okay? So there's a couple of things about a goldfish. A goldfish is able to survive. You don't have to have a pump going or anything like that, but you're gonna have to change the water. And you're also gonna have to use a certain type of water, right? So tap water could be kind of harsh on it because it has chlorine and those things. They'll survive usually, unless they're a little bit under the weather or something like that. They'll usually survive, but it takes them, it's like a shock. So ideally what we're gonna wanna do is get like a gallon of bottled water that you want it to have minerals, but you don't want it to have too much other stuff. And you're also gonna get some food to feed the goldfish. I figure it's my responsibility to make sure that you guys have food to feed the goldfish. So you're gonna get a little packet of food for the goldfish, okay? So you want to sit there and feed the goldfish. They say basically twice a day. It's only one goldfish, so you need very little bit of food, right? Very little bit of food. So the food that we've given you is to last you for the whole semester. At the end of the semester, you can decide whether or not you want to keep the goldfish. If you want to keep the goldfish, it's your goldfish. If you don't want to keep the goldfish, then you can bring them back to me, and then I will reclaim them and put them back in my tank and continue feeding them. So, okay. So there are a couple of things that you guys need to do. When you first get your goldfish, what I want you to do is to sit there. I want you to sit there, take a measurement. You're going to have a thermometer in your kit, and you want to measure the temperature of the water. You're going to actually put it in a little container. It's going to be a little container. You want to make sure that container has access to air. So you don't want to keep it sealed. If you do keep it sealed, you want to sit there and put holes in it so that there's air able to get through to the system. Because the most common way for a fish to die is by suffocation because we forget to put.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have a question, Dr. Henry.
Yep.
I just want to confirm that the kit comes with everything we need, including the food, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the kit is going to come with everything that you're going to need.
Okay.
Okay. So you won't have to go out and purchase anything for this class. We like you guys so much. Jessica's going to be loving building the rest of the kit. So
Yes,
yeah,
I will.
he's already looking forward to it. Okay. So again, we want you guys to take care of the goldfish. So the first thing that you're going to do is make sure that you check the temperature of the water, right? So we want you guys to use that as means of analysis for the goldfish. But you're also going to need to check the temperature of the goldfish. So I'm going to show you a way that you can sit there and check the temperature of the goldfish. Now, some of the experiments that we're going to be doing deals with heat regulation. So there's going to be a point where you're going to have to use a warmer temperature of water, and we want to see the effects that that's going to have on the goldfish. Does the goldfish start breathing heavier? Does it breathe faster? So we need to pay attention to that. So some of the ways that we're going to be doing that, because how many of you guys are really good at taking, determine the rate of breathing normally? Now, how many of you guys can do that with goldfish? Okay, so we're gonna have to pay attention to how the goldfish responds. So for instance, when the goldfish flaps its tail, it's also towards the rate of its breathing pattern. So we can sit there and pay attention. So if it's flapping its tail faster, that typically probably means it's breathing fast. If it's tapping it slower, that means it's breathing slower. So we're going to be playing with temperatures of water, things like that. So you're going to get water, so it's going to be a little bit cold. So you got to put a little bit of ice in there. But you don't want to be too cold so that you cause shock to the goldfish that causes it to die. You want to, okay? So it's going to be important that you check the temperature of the water, right? So you want to make sure that you have a functioning thermometer. one of the things that happens when we're delivering kits, we break a lot of thermometers. So I'm going to try to have some extras on hand. So the first thing that you want to do as soon as you get your kit is open it up. Make sure your thermometer is intact. Okay. Also, when you get home, the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you have all the components. Okay. So before you leave me, you want to make sure you have an intact thermometer. I'll have some extras on hand just in case. Now, if anything happens, let's say one of the instruments that we give you happens to break or anything like that, then you need to let me know and we'll try to get you a replacement. We'll either mail it to you or we'll deliver it. I've never been to Lancaster. I may use that as an excuse to go to Lancaster. What is there to do in Lancaster? Gabriella.
There's not much. We're about an hour from LA, but there's not really anything to do.
So I can say I'm going to Lancaster and go to LA, right?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, so I already got it planned out, you know. So, so do you guys understand what I'm saying about the goldfish and the kit and those things?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so now you guys had an opportunity to look at my schedule. Let me tell you where you will have options to have our Zoom lectures and our Zoom labs. So I would like it here. This is where, color, sorry. I would like it here. However, you have these days available. We have this spot here, here, here. And you know, I'm even flexible. I'll even do a Friday. I hate to, but I'll even do a Friday. Okay. So what we can do is we can set up a poll. You guys want to do that and then do a little vote? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let me put the question up.
Yes. Awesome.
So to keep it simple, I'll say Monday, Wednesday morning. So that will be right after my Chem 1A lecture. I mean 1B lecture. Monday, Wednesday afternoon. So Tuesday, Thursday morning. Wednesday. Okay, let's see. Can you guys see the poll? Okay. So we have 3 more votees. Jesse, feel free to vote.
Like I did.
So Victoria, can you hit it in the poll? So you're
Yeah. You could just click it, press submit. You don't have to type it in chat.
My bad, I didn't know it was something that we clicked.
Okay. Okay, so everybody's voted. Man, 13 people makes it easy. Okay, so we either do it Monday and Wednesday morning, or we do Monday, Wednesday afternoon. Let's see. Okay, so I want to do that, but I guess I will. So we will do, since we have like 50-50, so we'll keep it set up so that we'll have the possibility of doing the morning, and then we'll also do it in the afternoon. So we'll say we'll start at, let's say 9:15.
Works.
9:15 to 10:15. And then now, again, you guys are going to be doing simulations, but the days that you guys aren't doing simulations, we're going to actually meet in person, right? And then do those. So we'll have one set up right after that as well. And the labs, usually they're going to take you about an hour, hour and a half, no more than 2 hours, okay? For the face-to-face lab, because basically it's going to be handling a goldfish. I don't think you want to handle goldfish for like 3 hours, do you? Okay.
Are the
So-
lectures going to be recorded?
Yes, they are. They're going to be recorded, and it's going to be posted onto the Canvas shell. There's going to be a spot for you guys. Right, Jesse?
Yes,
Yes.
there will be.
Yeah. So we'll have it all set up for you, and it's going to be nicely organized, so you'll know the lectures. And if we've done a lab, so in the case that you can't make the lab, the physical lab, what we'll do is we're going to record it when we do it ourselves, and then we will actually post that up there, so you'll be able to do it in. Usually what I'll do, I'll give you about a week to sit there and get the lab done. So you'll have about a week to get the lab report done. So you want to make sure that you do the lab. It's going to be important that you guys record yourself doing the lab. So it's handling the goldfish at different temperatures. You want to record yourself handling the goldfish at different temperatures. And you want to save that onto either a Google Drive or onto YouTube or SharePoint Drive, or was it OneDrive? So one of those three, and you want to send me the link. I can't have you guys uploading huge movies to Canvas because they won't let you. So you'll be writing me, Dr. Henry, you won't let me upload it. So if you remember, send me the link to that. In your lab report, you're going to put that as the link. Okay.
So, Dr. Henry, just to confirm, so for the in-person lab, that's not necessarily mandatory as long as you do that recording that you're just talking about, because I live in the Bay Area.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and all of our quote in-person labs are going to be done via Zoom. I'm going to watch you guys handle the fish. I'm going to watch you guys, your lab technique, your procedures, and so it's going to be recorded. Now, if you've done it that way, if you've done it in the Zoom meeting, you don't have to record anything. Okay, all you have to do is do the lab report.
Okay.
If you don't do it in the Zoom meeting, you have to record it and you have to do lab.
So
Right.
the labs are going to be in the afternoon and the lecture will be in the morning?
No. So what I've done, since you guys were tied, it was 5 for the morning, 5 for the afternoon. So what I decided to do just now is I will have a section or a session happening in the morning, and I will have one happening in the afternoon. So there will be 2 independent sessions. They will be exactly the same material.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? So it'll just be a repeat of what's done.
You can attend either or.
Yeah. So you can
Awesome.
go
Thank you
either
for
or.
doing that.
And let's say you had a doctor's appointment right after our lecture, but you came to lecture, but you had a doctor appointment, so you couldn't make it to lab. You can go to the lab in the afternoon. That's fine. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Now I'm gonna have to try to convey that to your classmates, and you'll probably on the first day of class when we meet, you'll probably hear it again and again and again. So just prepare yourselves.
The
Okay,
place is the place where the lectures are gonna be up there. It's already up. It's under getting started. You can. That's where the lectures will be posted after we've already given them.
yeah,
The
and
recordings
this
will be up there.
this lecture is also going to be posted as
Yes.
well. Okay. Let's see. What else should I tell you?
I have a question. Are the times remaining the same or are you changing them?
So the afternoon time is going to remain the same, but there's also going to be a time in the morning.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll pencil it in right now. So let me minimize this. Maybe. Okay, so let's go ahead and pencil in a time. So for instance, you guys can write it down. Where's my eraser? So half you guys were comfortable with the morning. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna need about 15 minutes to get from my 1A class. So we'll say at 9:15, so we'll say right here, to, I guess it would be 10:45. Oh crap, hold on. 9:30, 9:30. Okay, so we'll say 9:30. And we'll go to 10. And we'll try to keep it 10:15. Okay, so then that's an hour. Oh shit. Okay, wait, if I could do math, 10:45, not 10:15. So that'll be an hour and 15 minutes of lecture. And then we'll go from 10:45 to 12:45 for labs, if we need them. Okay, and that's only on the days that you guys are doing physical labs. Okay, questions?
No, thank you so much for doing that and accommodating. It's super helpful that you're doing that for us.
Yeah, I try. Now,
It means
now I
a
may
lot.
be cranky because I don't get a lot of sleep, but I try. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so let's talk about the syllabus, and then after that we'll stop, and then on Monday we'll actually introduce ourselves to each other and all that good stuff, and then we'll go through the first lecture. Okay, so real quick about the syllabus, let me tell you what you guys are going to be graded on. Let me find the right class. Wrong class. Okay, so I will be putting up the new time as well. So I'll be doing that right after we finish with this section. So all you need to do to get to the lecture is to click onto the lecture box. And the lab is going to have its own box. So then all you need to do is to click onto the time for the lab session. Okay. So we'll have the one that's for 9:30. And then we'll have the lab that follows that as well. So they're going to be done independently. And everybody asks me, so why do you do them independently? Why do we have to keep clicking? The reason that we do that is because if we make it such a long time, it takes Zoom about 2 or 3 days for us to get the recordings, sometimes even a week, get the recordings. And then that way it's all the way until next week before we actually get them posted. So we have to split them up to smaller parts, okay? Okay, the meat and potatoes. Jesse, introduce yourself.
Hey guys and gals, I'm Jesse Wilches. I'll be your tutor for this wonderful class that Dr. Henry is hosting. My tutoring hours would be Tuesday and Thursdays from 10 to 1. So if you guys have any questions or are confused about anything, you guys can feel free to hop into my wonderful hours, or even feel free to email me or Dr. Henry if you have any questions. My email is just my name followed by the my.whcct.edu. I'll post it in the chat.
Or you could just click it here, and this will actually send you to his email.
Or that. There you go.
Okay, so his tutoring session can be found here. All you have to do is click on the highlighted times, and it'll take you to his tutoring sessions during those time periods. Now, Jesse isn't there every day, so he's only going to be there on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Okay, so this is my contact information right here. I always provide my cell. Now, the thing about my cell is, don't text me after 10 o'clock, because usually that's when I'm finishing teaching, and I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm like mean as anything, usually. So you can text me anytime before that, but also kind of weigh the text, right? So if you're asking me, so Dr. Henry, on this data point on, such and such, and, if it's going to take me about 3 hours to go through text messages with you, maybe you want to attend my office hours and talk to me then. And usually, like I said, I give you enough time so that you'll have the opportunity to attend my office hours. Speaking of my office hours are Thursdays, 2:30 to 5:30, unless I have meetings that I can't get out of. And I usually let you know in advance that that's going to be the case. Or some event is happening, it's at that time. The other one is at 7 to 10 p.m. on Thursday. Okay. So all you have to do is click on the link. It'll take you to the Zoom meeting for my office hours. This is my email. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. It usually takes me about 2 or 3 days to get to you back on emails, because if you look at my email box, and the thing is that I've been working on this one, right? So this is one of the places I teach at. So I teach at another place too. Theirs is double the amount. So I'm working on trying to get through all of those emails. Okay. But it takes me a little bit of time to get through all of those emails. And then also my work emails on top of that too. So these are just the ones from students. Okay. So eventually I get back to you. So if you want to get in contact with me, the best way of doing it is either via text or coming to my office hours, or the Remind app. Because if they're simple questions, it's really easy for me to answer. I'll send you a real quick respond real quick. And I recommend that all of you guys sign up for the Remind app. If you click on it, it'll actually take you to the information about the Remind app and how to get enrolled. Okay, so just click on that link, it'll take you there. Okay, so you guys already know about anatomy. These are your learning outcomes. We won't go over them, but you should be expected to kind of know them. You'll probably see them on your very first test, your learning outcomes, so you should know what you should be expecting. This is the link to the online version of the book. It's free. You don't have to pay for it, so just click on that link. This will actually take you to the link. It'll take you to OpenStax, so you want to register for OpenStax. Mine is already linked up to my password, so it'll take me to all that information. Okay, so, and this is the link to your text. I'm sorry, it's $29.99. I think it's on sale now, so it might be a good time to get it. So I also recommend that you have a calculator. So there will be some calculations. So I expect you guys to have a calculator. I don't allow you guys to use your phone in your exams. All your exams will be online. And we will have Proctorial as the proctoring service for your exams. So you'll need an identification card. So that can either be a student ID, a driver's license, a passport, or just ID, you know. Make sure that you have one available so that you can actually show that. These are some of the sources, some of the resources that you may find valuable. So I always use YouTube as a resource. How many of you guys have ever changed the air filter, the cabin filter in your car?
Yes.
You did it?
Yes, I have.
Okay. How did you learn how to change it and where to find it at?
Probably YouTube. I mean, it's common knowledge to me now because I've done it so many times, but I'm pretty sure I learned on YouTube. Definitely online somewhere, but
yeah. So
yeah.
Some of the best resources for a lot of things that we do comes from YouTube and online, right? And so that's no different in terms of this course. A lot of the resources that you're going to have are going to come online. So I always go to YouTube, I go to Google, and when I don't understand something, and then I take a couple of sources because sometimes, you know, you get certain sites that are BS, you know. It's like, you know, the ones that say you grow horns and stuff like that if you masturbate and, you know, things like that. So, you know, so my point is that, you know, you kind of have to weigh where it's coming from as well too, right? But those are sources. They're valuable sources that we can use to learn. So sometimes when I'm not able to get to you with an answer right that instant, go ahead and Google it. You'll probably find something that'll be interesting. Like you grow horns when you masturbate, right? Okay. You guys are gonna have a group project. I'm still trying to figure out, me and Jesse are gonna talk about this after this class, after you guys leave, about what we're gonna do for your group project. I think I have a good idea what I would like you guys to do, but I haven't solidified it yet. It'll be fun, I think. And so I love group projects because it makes people uncomfortable. That's the main reason I love it. I get a chuckle out of it. I'm not kidding. I'm serious about this. It does. It makes people uncomfortable because they're like, I have to rely on this smoke for my grade, you know, and it just makes them so uncomfortable. But if you think about it, how many of you guys have jobs?
Me.
Yeah. Most of us have jobs, right? Or will have a job at some point, or taking this class because we want a job, right? So in that regard, how many of you guys work in a silo, meaning that you work all by yourself and only by yourself? Any of you guys?
Can't relate.
Me right here.
You do? What do you do?
I'm a CNA.
You're a what?
CNA.
You're a CNA?
Certified nurse assistant.
Okay, so you're telling me you work by yourself. There's
I'm
not a nurse that works with you. There's not a housekeeper. There's not.
Well, the RN give us the what do you call it? I work in the suicidal, so it's one-on-one. So at the beginning of the shift, they tell me what to do, and then I follow through that.
But there's somebody there if
Oh, yeah,
something else
actually,
happens, right?
Yeah.
And so, but if they don't tell you what to do, could you do your job?
Yeah.
You could?
No. I need the supervisor.
Oh, okay. So in a sense, you do work with somebody, right? Okay. So my point is that in everything that we do today, the environment that we live in, we need other people to work with. We need to be able to work with other people. If your supervisor is a total asshole, do you still have to work with them?
Sadly, yes.
Yeah.
What are
Unfortunately.
you saying, Jesse?
Okay, I get it now.
Okay, you get it now, right? And so the value of a group project is that you learn how to manage people, right? And manage people without having power. I was in one of the jobs I had, I was a supervisor, but I had no power to hire or fire, right? So I could get upset as much as I want to, but if I'm getting upset and yelling at somebody all the time, are they gonna want to work with me? Is that gonna motivate them to do their job?
Probably not.
Probably not. But then I have to figure out ways to motivate them to do their job. right? So I sit there, we'd have our little group meeting in the morning. So I'd bring a cup of coffee, a couple of donuts, hey, if we get this thing done, we could go and we could go celebrate and stuff like that. You can sit there and we can do this and we can do that, and then also gave them a little bit of power, right? Give them responsibility over this project. This is your project. Without you doing this is, and also give them a little bit of guilt trip. My mom's guilt. Don't get, this is what's going to happen. And then we're all going to get in trouble. And if we all get in trouble, we're all going to get fired, right? Little guilt, So Catholic guilt, So you need to learn how to motivate people. Try to find ways to get people to do what they're supposed to do without always yelling at them. And sometimes it does take you yelling at them because different people are motivated different ways. So group projects helps with that mentality because you're going to always meet that person who is like dead weight, and you feel like you're just dragging that dead body along the road, Am I the only one that feels like I drag dead bodies sometimes? Or
No,
I am my dead body?
It was like that in my old school, like when I was in my last degree program, we'd have group projects, I swear, like weekly, and there was always that one person that you're like, what's going on with them? They haven't communicated, they haven't done nothing. And yeah, it's there. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That's definitely frustrating, but
It is.
you get
it
through
is.
it.
That's right. Exactly. You get through it and you find creative ways to do it,
Exactly.
And those are very valuable tools. And those are tools that you're going to need in industry. And that's the one thing that I try to implement in my students is that you guys are going to be working at some point, right? And so part of this experience should be learning about working, and how to manage people and how to work with people. And so that's going to be very valuable. And also using each other as resources, because sometimes you do have a boss that's an asshole or that's out to get you or things like that. And so you need to find ways, those back channels, to sit there and make things work. Okay. Okay. So you guys are going to be doing some lab work and everything with the goldfish. That stuff that you guys are going to basically be working with isn't going to kill you, but it could kill your goldfish. So you want to be kind of cognizant of that and kind of be aware of what it can do. And so you don't want to poison your goldfish because that's part of your project. You come back with a healthy, happy goldfish, it's a great thing. Or if you decide to keep a healthy, happy goldfish, it's a great thing, right? And I'm assuming that most of you guys are deciding that you want to go into some health career. Am I wrong?
No.
No? You don't want to go into a health career?
No, you're not wrong.
Oh, I'm not wrong. Okay. Yes, thank you for the clarification, right? So you guys want to sit there and be a doctor or a nurse, right? Now, if you're killing things already, does that look good for you later on?
No,
Okay.
not really.
Okay, so we can kind of establish some things here, right? So we want to make sure that we know what's going to happen. What's going to happen to our fish if this, make sure we're not poisoning our fish. Don't feed it bleach, okay? Things like that. Even though you may think it has COVID, it's not going to be the way to kill it. I mean, not kill COVID, it'll kill your fish. I guess it'll do both. It'll kill COVID and your fish.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, okay. So part of your grade is going to be based upon participation. What I mean by participation, I can't make you come to class. I can't make you, I can't make you physically interact with your fish and all those things. But what I can make you do is do assignments that require you to interact. So you're going to have discussions that you're going to be interacting with your groups. And so in those discussions, you will be sitting there and talking to each other. So it's going to be valuable that you guys submit your discussions in a timely manner so some other people can respond. That's going to be really important because you are getting some points based.
I can't eat all the chicken you had.
No.
What was that?
Eat it? No, the chicken you had made.
We get some chicken?
That's my mom. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Tell her if she's cooking chicken, I want some. I love chicken.
Right?
I'm sure we can all eat.
I know.
Okay, so it's going to be important if you guys decide to sit there and interact. Now, so attendance, the way I feel about attendance, what I mean by attendance, you got to log into Canvas. If you're not getting on Canvas, if you're like, you've missed 2 or 3 sessions, let's say there are 2 or 3 assignments that have gone up and you've not done any of them, you missed those dates, So then I'm going to assume that you're dead. You probably have COVID or in a hospital. So I'm going to do you a favor and drop you from my course, right? Because, you know, a normal student would have said, hey, Dr. Henry, something happened. So, they would contact me and let me know. And so after 2 or 3 assignments that have been missed, I'm going to probably say something is wrong with this person because they wouldn't want to be getting the grade that they're getting right. So most likely, I'm not going to guarantee you, most likely I will drop you from the course. Now, I understand things happen. You get pregnant, your boyfriend goes to jail, you know, things happen, life happens, right? If you let me know that life is happening, you know, you don't have to give me all of the details. You're just like, there's some issues that are going on. I don't want to be dropped from this class. I need about, you know, a couple of times to kind of get this together. Do you mind or whatever? Let me know. And then I'm going to be willing to work with you because, you know, I understand things happen, life happens. But there's some reasonableness to it. You know, I mean, there's a point when, you know, things are happening all the time, and I'm going to start saying, okay, so now what's the next thing? You know, your Aunt Emma died 6 times. You know, I don't know. You know, after a while, that 6th time, I'm going to be start thinking, damn, Aunt Emma must be something because I mean, she came back to life once, she died again. You know, so you don't overdo it. You know, but like I said, I'm going to be willing to work with you as long as you're honest with me, honest, straightforward with me. I'm more willing to work with you than if you try to blow smoke up my butt. You blow smoke up my butt, I don't like you, and then we're already on bad standings. Okay. You guys have required assignments. You're going to have reading assignments. You should be completing those. I'm still debating. Some of my colleagues says that I should make you guys write summaries to reading assignments. I don't want to read something, but I want you guys to read. And so I need to figure out a way to try to motivate you to do it, other than say, hey, you need to be reading this, right? And do this homework, you know? I hate grading, I'm gonna be honest. Oh, grading sucks, right? How many of you guys like grading? How many of you guys like getting grades? Right? So if it was up to me, I like learning for learning's sake, right? I'm kind of like that philosophy. I love to learn stuff, right? But it's not up to me. You guys have to get a grade. So I have to grade you on certain things, okay? So I'm not gonna grade you on rereading something. Keep debating it. And everybody tells me I should, but you guys are big boys and big girls now. You know you need to read the book. So read the book when you don't understand it. We're going to go over the lecture, and it makes the lecture go so much smoother if you've read over the book. Otherwise, it takes me twice as long to go over it. As I told you about the lab sessions, they're going to be recorded via Zoom, or they're going to be recorded on your own. Now, I said here in your lab reports, you have to tell me that you've done it via Zoom. Just let me know, hey, we did it via Zoom, I'm there. That's just to remind me because, you know, I'm old. I get gray hairs every once in a while. I got my 2nd gray hair now. So it's just to remind me that you were there. And then if I question it or anything like that, and I know that you were blowing smoke up my butt because you haven't turned in an assignment in months, and you're telling me you made all the lectures and all that stuff, I'll be like, sure, right. And I check it out. So it gives me that ability to do that. Now, just so happen, you also have the ability to record the videos yourself, right? You want to put that onto YouTube, Google Drive, or some source and send me, or was Apple Share or whatever, and send me the link. So you want to put that link into your report. You don't want to put the video in your report. You want to put the link to the video, okay? So then I'll go and look at it at my leisure, and then I'll give you grades for it. You're going to have assignments, you're going to have discussion boards, and you're going to have lab reports. They're going to be telling you when they're due on Canvas and things like that. Everything is going to be uploadable through Canvas, okay? Sometimes I screw up. I'm not perfect. I try to be, but I'm nowhere near perfect, right? You guys saw my room. It was a fucking mess, right? So that proves that I'm not perfect. So correct me. Sometimes the times will be wrong and the dates will be wrong. Ask me, because I'll say one thing and it'll say something on Canvas. It's okay to text me, hey, Dr. Henry, I thought you said it was due such and such. Hey, I'll say, oh, you're right. Let me fix that. And sometimes it takes me a little bit to fix it because I'll be in a meeting and I was like, I'll fix it right after this, and I forget about it. Text me again. It's okay. Okay. It just tells me, hey, you got to get that done. If you don't turn in your assignments after a certain while, they're going to be considered beyond late. I will take late assignments, but you get points deducted for it. In the beginning, like I said, I'm going to be a little bit flexible till we kind of get our systems going, right? Get our compass going, right? After that, then I'm going to get a little more stringent, okay? You guys have quizzes and you're going to have exams. So the policy on quizzes, basically, you're going to get a certain time to get that quiz done. You get it done, great. If not, if you miss that quiz after that deadline, there's nothing I can do for you because you had ample time to sit there and get it done. That's the same thing with your exams. Unless you tell me, Dr. Henry, I got COVID, I'm in the hospital. Dr. Henry, I'm pregnant. I'm having my baby right now. Now, don't worry though. If you are pregnant and you're having your baby right now and you let me know, I'll be willing to wait till after you have your baby and then I'll do it. But we'll work something out. I'll even if they let me in. Okay, so I grade on the straight curve. So, 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, okay? So if you have an 89.992, what is that?
A B.
It's gonna be a B, okay? So it falls, even though it doesn't say specifically, but it's gonna be a B. You have to have a 90 to have a, that A, okay? So you wanna make sure that you're counting every point, right? Because I'm counting every point. And so you always wanna put your best foot forward. You get a chance to do extra credit. Like this week, there was a message credit on the assignments. And I know, I think what, 4 or 5 of you guys went, and mostly because you guys are in my chemistry class. So you want to try to make sure you take advantage of those 3 points, because at the end of the semester, when you're struggling for that A, you're like that half a point away. I'm going to sit there and you're going to say, Dr. Henry, I'm only a half a point away. Come on, give me a break. I'm like, hey, you had ample opportunities, right? I've given you ample chances to sit there and pick them up. When you're, that half a point away from that C, you've had, and I'm a stickler about that. I'm like the biggest asshole. I mean, I'm sure that you probably seen it. I was only a fourth of a point away from, getting it, and he wouldn't even give it to me, that asshole. But that's the way I am, because like I said, I give you plenty of chances to sit there and get those points. Okay, so here's the breakdown. Your homework is going to be 10%. Your exams are going to be 36%. That's kind of heavy, right? So you want to make sure that you do pretty well on your exam. You want to make sure that you're studying. And I know a lot of you guys have test anxiety, but you can still sit there and do pretty well. And I'm going to be honest, I may just, again, this is something that I've debated with. I may just change your homework so that it'll be a little bit more, take a little bit away from those exams, sit there and get there. Because I know that, I've had moments where I just kind of, right? But right now, this is what it's at, okay? And this is going to be your syllabus. I have to turn this in by this week. So at the end of it, if I do make that adjustment, I will let you guys know immediately that I made that adjustment, okay? Participation, 5 points for participation and your discussions. You have what I call practice tests and quizzes. So I give you guys practice tests so that you guys do well on your exams. So make sure that you guys are doing the practice. They're going to be worth 5%. You have a final that's worth 15%. You have the lab reports. Your lab reports are altogether worth 15%. You have your group project, which is going to be 10%. And then you have what I call career preparation. So I'm finding that a lot of students haven't thought about the next. All you guys say you want to be nurses. You guys know the next, what you're going to have to do before you can get into nursing.
You have to take like prep exams and then complete your prerequisites and then apply. It's a pretty lengthy application process.
Yeah. And do you guys know the timing of those exams?
No, I know you have to get about 70 questions right, or that might be the NCLEX. I don't know about like TEAS or anything like that.
So yeah,
it's
called the TEAS test. And you're right. Depending on where you go, I believe there is a couple of institutions where you can get 60% of the exams. You get a 60% on your exam, and then they'll they'll put you in the pool to be selected. But there's, you guys recognize that you guys are in a very competitive area. Everybody wants to be a nurse right now. Well, maybe not right now, but before, everybody wanted to be a nurse. And it's very competitive. All the schools in the area are very, very competitive. So if you're getting a 60 or 70, that's probably not good enough, right? And so what I want you guys to start thinking about is start thinking ahead. Correct. So what happens if you don't get in? What are you going to do with this degree that you have? What are your alternatives, right? So not to say that you won't get in, but also what if you do? What is the next steps to, you know, getting to the TEAS test? What is the next step of your nursing degree, right? So what are you going to have to do next? What are your next steps? Kind of plan ahead, because a lot of times we wait to the last minute. You know, we need to register for classes. We need to do this. But a lot of us, we wait to the very last minute to sit there and do it. But by that point, if you start waiting to the last minute, that's making you a non-competitive candidate, right? Because you waited too long to do what you're supposed to do. Doesn't look good for you. So I'm finding that there are more and more students that are doing that. And that's partially, you know, it's partially the function of our society, that we kind of get a little distant from each other, a little separated, and we don't talk to each other. We don't get advised by those people who've gone through that process. Or we're saying, oh, well, they don't know anything, right? But a lot of these processes don't change. So if you talk to somebody who's gone through that process, they may be able to help you. So part of this 4% is you planning out your future, as well as you interacting with people who are in the field, okay? And so we'll talk about that in a little more detail. I'll give you the instructions, but it's 4% of your grade, because I want to see you guys succeed in your careers. I want you guys all to be nurses if you want to be nurses, or doctors, or lawyers. Okay, so extra credit, there might be extra credit questions, and you may get extra credit to do events and stuff like that, but I'm not going to do a special extra credit assignment just for you, because you know you didn't do what you're supposed to do. Okay? So, and the thing that I really, really hate every semester, at the end of the semester, even though I said this, I will have about 4 to 5 students that will come up to me. Dr. Henry, is there anything that I can do for extra credit to sit there and get these points? And then I say, what? Anybody?
So you had your chance.
Why not?
You've had ample opportunities already. You should have done it then, right? Okay, so I believe that everybody makes mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes and things like that. I'll tell you about a story. So I was taking this one class, and you know, I'm a really hard worker. I was actually working 2 jobs when I was in college, and I was always full load. So I didn't have a lot of time to go out and party. So one time I just said, okay, you know, I want to be a student. I want to have a good time. I want to be like my friends that are going out and having a good time. So I just said, you know I have this exam tomorrow, but I know I'm ready. I know my stuff, right? So I went out, man, I turned up, and I'm not kidding. I was just like, you know, and they're always house parties. I mean, they were just so much alcohol and stuff like that. And I don't even remember how I got home, to be honest, but I remember I spent the whole night in the bathroom praying to the porcelain gods. Lord, I was praying to the porcelain gods so well. So after I finished praying to those porcelain gods, I went to sleep, and I'm like, okay, so you know, I got an 8 o'clock class. I got to make sure I get there at 8 o'clock. So
You didn't get there at 8 o'clock.
Oh no, I didn't. I got there at 9:05, and that meant I had 10 minutes left to finish the exam.
Dang.
I'm creeping in at 9:05. So I go in there and I try to write as much as I could possibly write, and I got a big fat F on that exam. Now, let me tell you a little bit about it. So I was at UC Santa Barbara. It was one of my engineering classes, and we had 2 exams and a final. That's it. There's no homework assignments or anything like that. 2, and so each exam was worth 25% of your grade, and the final was worth 50% of your grade. And so I think I scored a whopping, I think it was about 7 points. 7, I can't remember exactly, but I think it was 7.7 out of 100. Yeah. So that was my very first exam. So I set myself up for failure, right? So, because that means that best I could do was 75%. All right. So, you know, I ended up taking a seat for that class. And I got a 92 on the next exam. And I got on the final, I think it was 100 because he gave us a little extra credit points, 105 or something like that. And, but I studied my ass off, but I got a C in the class. It was really close, really close to a B because of those little extra credit points, but wasn't enough because I had made that mistake. And so I told myself after that class that, you know, I'm going to be the cool instructor, right? I'm going to give the student one chance to mess up. So what I do what I call test corrections. And so you get one opportunity, one chance, so one exam. You can sit there and do what I call test corrections. And what test corrections are is that, let's say you get 50 on that first exam. See? So if it's out of 100, how many points did you miss? Come on, I know you guys can do math. 100 minus 50.
50.
Okay. So if you get half of that, half of 50?
25.
25.
Okay. So what I do is that I give you the opportunity to make up those points that you missed. Not all the points, but half the points that you missed. So if you miss 50 points, right? So you have the possibility of getting 25. 25 plus 50?
75.
Is that a passing grade?
Yes.
Okay, so I went from an F to a passing grade, right? But I only do that for one exam. And for some reason, every class that I have, about 85 to 90% of the students always use that very first exam to do that for. They don't study, they don't do the practice test, you know, even though I tell them to do those things, right? They always end up doing it that very first exam for some reason. I don't know why. But is that true, Jesse?
I passed the last few though.
That's true.
Yes.
But it's that first one, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So so it's a possibility. But the thing is that it's a lot of work, right? Because I'm going to make you work for it if you're going to get those points back. And so there's three components that you have to give to me. You have to tell me the reason why your answer is incorrect. You have to tell me what the correct answer is, and then you have to tell me why the correct answer is correct. 3 parts. So you can't do things like, oh, because I will also take points away, right? I can take off half those points too. So you can end up with a worse grade than you had at the beginning if you don't do those 3 parts. A lot of times I would get something like, well, Mary was helping me. Now, first off, you just told me that you were taking this test and Mary was helping, right? So that just told me you cheated, right? So I'm definitely going to be taking points away from you, right? And so I know the correct answer. You know, I know the answer is correct. You know, so and believe me, I've had students that did this. IDK. Hell yeah, of course you didn't know. That's why you got it wrong. But that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you, why is your specific answer wrong? Right? Think about it. Wrong, right? And this is the one I love too. I don't have the correct equation. Or I use the wrong equation. Yeah, that's kind of evident. That's why your answer is wrong. Yeah, I know that. But okay, what aspect? What is it specifically? I want the details. Why? You know? So there's a specific reason why. Well, obviously, this is the wrong equation, but it's the wrong equation because it didn't take into account mass and it didn't take into account this. So you have to give me a little bit of details. You can't just say, I don't know, you know. Okay, this is the best one, one of the best ones. I didn't put anything down because I believe it's against my religion, you know. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. So you know you're taking science, right? I don't care about your damn religion. This is science. So you need to take that outside. You handle that on your own time. This is this class. So we could talk about that later, right? We can have a philosophical debate on that. But right now, you need to tell me why this is wrong. And it was a chemistry question. It wasn't even like, you know, evolution. So, but this gives you an example, and this is dealing with chemistry. I'll try to get one more bio-oriented. I'll put one bio-oriented up.
Okay, so sorry. So are we able to wait until like the last exam just before the final to choose the test that we want to correct? And then correct it?
So
Or
so normally I wouldn't do that, right? Normally I would have you guys, you'd have a week after the exam to sit there and get it done. But since we're doing a lot of things online, I'm gonna go ahead and do it that way because it makes it easier for me. But it's not gonna be easier for you. It's still gonna be the same problem for you. It makes it easier for me because then at the end of the semester, then I'll just grade them all at once, and then I'm done. I'm happy with it. Good to go. But part of the reason for me having you do this is because you want to learn the material, right? So if you screwed up so badly, chances are you didn't take the time to study and learn the material. But by you going through it and actually trying to figure out what you did wrong and all that stuff, you actually start learning some of that material, and you use that. The thing about science, and this is the thing that most students don't recognize about science, they want to put things in little silos. Science, you can't put things in little silos because you need the stuff that was in that last silo for this next silo. And you need to start from that next silo for the next silo. So you're going to need all of those tools. They're tools that you're going to be constantly going back to. Whether you recognize it or not, really that's what happens with science. And so if you don't have that foundation, let's say that first test you really bombed and you never learned it, chances are that's going to hurt you throughout the course. So do you understand why I try to do it? But you know what? Yeah, we can sit there and let you make that choice. So if you want to wait till the end to do it, yeah, go ahead. Not gonna hurt me, you know.
okay. So and the test corrections are done by ourselves, or do we have to do it with Jesse?
No, you do it by yourself.
Okay.
I mean, Jesse is a resource, but he's not gonna give you the answer. And if he gives you the answer, I'm beating him. He knows
I don't
that.
want to be beat. Don't ask me for the quick answers.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Jesse, I'll
Got
make
it.
you chicken.
That makes the beating less hurtful.
Okay, so these are some of the important dates for the class. So you guys are going to be picking up your kits. I'll show you that where to find the times at to pick up your kits. I'm already getting emails from your colleagues that also have questions. This is the last day to drop the class so that there's no grade associated with it. This is the last day to drop the class with a W. Okay, and then after that, you're just taking what you get. I always tell students, because the way I have my class set up, and I didn't explain this to you earlier, if you take a look at the way that it breaks down, you could actually pass the class with a C if you failed. Well, and when I say failed, I mean, you can't be getting zeros. You got to be getting something like 50s or 60s or something like that on some exam. But if you have like an average on your exams of like a D, or even a high F, close to a D, if you've done everything that you were supposed to do, your group projects, your homeworks, all of those things, and you've done them pretty well, then you can still pass the class with a C. And it's designed that way on purpose because I worked in industry. I went to school, I went into academia, I went into industry. I find that students who are typically C students that are really good with their hands typically make better workers than those A students. And because the A students are really good at that test, right? They're really, really, really good at getting that test on. But a lot of times they are disasters in the lab. They break stuff, they blow up stuff, they kill everything they touch. you know? And so you try to lead those students, you know, those people down different paths than the person that may be really good with their hands, you know? And so they're people with their hands are typically easier to train. They have a visual conception. And so, but typically they struggle a little bit with test taking. They get a lot of anxiety, or they, you know, and so that's the reason why they don't typically do as well academically as, let's say, those A students, or they lack confidence. That's typically another reason. But I've had better quality with those students that are typically C, low B students than those straight A students. And I could go to tons and tons of reasons why that's the case. But at the end of the day, you know, it's like you can still end up passing the class. And it's, again, it's designed that way because I find that those students still make really good workers, right? They may not be getting the A, but they're good at what they do, and they understand the big picture. And sometimes those people who understand those big pictures by doing experiments and things like that are typically better workers and better producers than those people that may understand the book part of it, but they don't understand the real life. You know what I'm saying? Are you guys still there, or did you fall asleep?
I'm here.
Okay, so we're almost done. We're pulling up this last part. Academic honesty. Don't cheat. You'll have a little paper to sign when you get your lab report, I mean, your kits and stuff like that, that says basically you will not cheat. If you get caught cheating, the first time I will give you a warning, and I will give you a 0 for that, whatever you got caught cheating on. The second time, I'm going to do everything in my power to get you kicked out of school. And I'm not lying. Right? That just, one thing, for some reason, I hate cheaters. That's not for some reason. I have a reason. You know, one of these days, I'll tell you that story. For this class, don't wait till the last minute to do things. Do the practice exams, do the homeworks, you know, take advantage of all of the opportunities that you have. Supplemental aids. I will give you guys links to YouTube and things like that. And as right now, I'm still building my Canvas shell, so you're gonna have to bear with me because I'm still trying to find out the right resources for physiology. You know, like I said, first time teaching it, I don't have those resources at my fingertips, but I'm working on it. This is a college course. It's going to be rigorous. So you guys are going to be expected to read. You guys are going to be expected to know things and things that you should have known in your other classes. And so, and if you don't, then I'm going to give you resources to try to figure those out and help you get back up to where you need to be. But that's going to be on you to sit there and do that. Okay. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that you're going to have to do on your own. Or if you're smart, you start exchanging numbers via chat right now, so that you have study groups to sit there and push you through the process. And that's the other thing that I want to emphasize. Groups, people that work in cohorts typically do much better, at least 2 grade differences. So people that would typically get C's end up getting A's and B's when they're working in groups. Or people that would normally get F's end up getting C's, you know, when they're typically working in groups. Because you have that group that's sitting there driving you. I mean, of course, if you get a group of deadbeats, you're kind of setting yourself up, or people that are going to party all the time, you're kind of setting yourself up for that. That's different, you know. But you want to try to find a group of people that you can rely on. Let's say you get the class all the time, or things like that. They're going to get that information to you. Hey, girl, did you do that homework assignment yet? Well, yeah, I did this. What did you get for this? You know, that's okay. You know, to me, that's not cheating. If you guys are comparing answers and talking about it, as long as you guys are contributing to the discussion, I don't consider that cheating. If you're helping someone, that's not cheating. But if you give them that paper and they're copying it, that's cheating. You see the difference?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Don't procrastinate. That's the biggest thing. We all want to procrastinate, but we can't. You know, it's like you guys have tight schedules. Some of you guys have kids. Some of you guys have husbands. Some of you guys have wives. Some of you guys have both. You know, you got your main squeeze and your side piece, you know? So you want to keep a really tight schedule. So you don't want to be procrastinating. Make sure you build time into your schedule for this class. If you don't have the time for this class, don't take this class. I've had ample students, and I'm not going to lie to you, ample students that come in and they're like on fire, el fuego, you know, and they were nervous at first. Oh yeah, and they're doing great, right? They do great. And then they get to the end of the course and they crash because they didn't build that time into their schedule, or they decided they didn't need that time anymore. Okay, you want to keep that time, you want to build in your schedule, and you want to sit there and buy it all the time. You should be looking at this daily, at least an hour. So every class you have, there should be 4 hours a day dedicated to your class. So you're getting a little bit every day. Because if you sit there, you say, okay, I'm just going to do it on Tuesday. And then when Tuesday comes, your baby gets sick and vomiting everywhere, you don't get a chance to do it, right? But if you're doing a little bit every time, at least you're getting something done each moment and you're not forgetting it. How many of you guys, like, I can talk about myself, right? If I don't do something, if I don't use it, I lose it, right? And if you're doing it daily, just a little bit, even a little bit, you're using it, right? But if you're not doing it, let's say I wait a week, I've probably forgot everything that I was taught to me before because I'm not using it at all, okay? So this is that concept, use it or lose it. You guys heard of that before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Some Henry guy I knew.
Okay, so if you need a little extra help and there are accommodations for a disabled students program, you want to talk to them about it. I tell everybody, if it were me, I would be going there just to get tested for the hell of it, because they have really cool pens that, it records while you're writing, taking notes, and I'm a horrible note taker. And so I may put a star and it'll let me know what that star means, and so I am a strong advocate of that program, and I strongly recommend that you guys go there. And I think on Monday we'll have a little spill from them. Also, because we're going through COVID and we're still isolating, and we may have lost a job, we may have lost family members, and I'll be kind of open here. So my aunt went into the hospital on Sunday, and she had cancer, but she went into hospital because of COVID. And because she was under chemo and stuff like that, her immune system was really weak. She basically passed away on Wednesday.
God, I am so sorry.
Yeah, it's
That's
rough,
awful.
it's rough. And I felt bad because I hadn't seen her, stuff like that, and in a while, and I just haven't, been busy, right? And the point is that stuff like that is going to happen, right? And it's going to catch you off guard and unexpected. So sometimes we're going to need somebody to talk to about those things. And I'm an instructor. I'd love to say, yeah, I'm always available and stuff like that. And that would be a lie. I'm not, as much as I try to be. But I'll try my best to sit there if you need to talk or something like that. And that's why it's important for you guys to kind of stay in contact with me, let me know what's going on. I'll try my best to try to help you. But chances are you'll probably need somebody better than I am who's qualified, and certified to sit there and talk to you. And so the best way of handling that right now is by clicking on this link. I will have another link for you guys available here in, I think, a week or so, of another service that we have available for our students. And so they will actually get you to somebody who's able to help you. Don't do anything stupid. If you're going to do anything stupid, before you do anything stupid, text me, call me, and we'll try to get you his help as soon as possible. Okay. Title IX. So if you feel that you've been unlawfully discriminated against or sexually harassed, and we have really strong policies about that. If that ever happens, there are avenues that we'll take to and make sure that is resolved immediately. Okay. So the person that you want to contact is Javier Caceres, and this is his email, and this is his number, and then this is the current policy about that. Let's see, everything we're doing through Zoom, so sometimes it gets a little noisy at your house. I know you guys turn up every once in a while, or your kids crying or crawling all over you. If you can do me a favor, just kind of mute yourself under those circumstances, but when you're asking questions, still ask questions, still interact. Just unmute yourself. I know this is going to be loud and everything like that, and hopefully your classmates will respect the fact that we're all are in this craziness and we're all learning everything from home, and so we don't have the most perfect academic environment that is always quiet and conducive to the real learning, but we're going to make the best of it. And also I ask that you guys, if you guys come to lecture, please, I know it's hard sometimes, but if you have your cameras on, the reason why I like to have your cameras on, because then I know that you guys are, first off, you're awake and you're listening to me, and that you're there. And then also, more importantly, is so that I can see what your face is saying. Like Roxanne, right? Roxanne will tell me by her face, she's like, I don't know anything. You just said all that. I didn't catch one word you just said. Now, she won't say that because she tries to be shy and coy about it, right? But by looking at her face, I can understand, okay, she didn't understand the damn thing I said. So I'll go back over it a different way, you know? But if I don't see your faces, I'm just gonna assume that you know it, and I'm just keep going. And most of you guys are shy. I know Azucena, oh my gosh, she is so shy. But when she gets started, you know, when she starts asking those questions, she will. She comes off shy. And so, but if you have the black screen, I can't see any faces, so I'm gonna assume you know it. And plus, I like to see who I'm talking to. It makes me feel like I'm talking to people rather than a screen, you know? Okay, are there any questions?
Can I ask a question kind of about quizzes and exams and everything?
Yes, you may.
So I don't know, you might have said it and I might not have heard it. Are we allowed to look back through notes for assistance on quizzes and things like that? Or is
So
it
you're
just
asking
kind of,
me, you're asking me if my quizzes and tests are open notes. So my quizzes and tests are not open notes. So
okay,
the thing
gotcha.
about most of your biology, I'm going to give you guys some really good hints here. A couple of good things, right? One of those good things that I'm going to give you, I'm going to recommend that you guys get flashcards. So there's this awesome set of flashcards. You run downstairs because I think mine are downstairs. But there's an awesome set of flashcards that I strongly recommend for anatomy and physiology. They are bomb. Get them on Amazon. They're a lot more expensive now than they used to be. They used to be like $8, but you might get some used ones for $8. But I used to get them for $8 because, you know, things weren't online and you didn't need them as much. But now they're like $30. But bomb ass set of flashcards about anatomy and physiology. Flashcards are the best way of doing it. You want to start putting that stuff in memory because you guys are going to be nurses and you guys are going to need to know those things. They need to be up here. They can't be on a piece of paper. You don't have the time to sit there and Google everything under those circumstances. You know, chemistry and stuff like that, they often will get resources to help them with the exam. You guys will get some resources. Like I will give you guys the periodic table, those things like that. But a lot of the stuff, you need to have it up here. Okay?
Perfect. Thank you for answering that.
No problem. But that's a good question because I know that some teachers will give you, but okay, I'll put it like this. On the final, I may give you guys a cheat sheet, right? So front and back of a piece of paper for your exam. I may do that for the final. But for your other exams, I want you to try to put it up here.
Sounds good.
Okay?
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? That was a really good question.
How does the Proctorial thing work?
Oh, I hate that damn program. I'm gonna be honest. I hate it with passion. So this is the way it works. In theory, right? In theory, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna make sure that you're using Chrome or Firefox because those are the two operating systems that are, the browsers that work for it. So Chrome and Firefox. So you want to make sure that you have Chrome downloaded on your computer or Firefox downloaded on your computer. You want to make sure that it's up to date because if it isn't up to date, it's going to crash all the time. Okay. So the other thing is the way it works is that you go in, you log in to the exam. When you log into the exam, it's going to ask you a couple of things. First off, it's going to say, show your ID. You show your ID. Then it's going to have you lift up your laptop and take it around the room, make sure that nobody's around you. And then it's going to sit there and allow you not to have you close everything, make sure everything is closed off. Otherwise, it won't work. So as soon as you have everything closed except for the exam, then it's going to start the exam. Okay. Now, if somebody comes in and starts talking to you, what's going to happen is going to be bleep. And that bleep lets me know that, hey, somebody came in and started talking. So I have to go back and look at that bleep, and I get to see, oh, it's your mom yelling at you about not eating your food, right? So then I don't make a big deal out of it. Now, if you get a whole bunch of bleeps, like, and you have somebody just constantly talking to you over you, then what it'll do, it'll actually shut down. Now, because then it recognizes that at this point, this person should have gone already. You know, one little bleep, you know, you say, Mom, I'm taking this test, leave me alone, you know, and then that it's good. But if you're constantly having somebody over your ear and you're constantly writing this, they assume that you're cheating. Then I go back and I take a look at it again and I see that you were cheating, then I give you your 0, or I see that, you know, your boyfriend is yelling at you because you were cheating on him or whatever, then, you know, that's something different. So then I'll make arrangement with you to get another chance to take the test because, you know, you just got kicked out of your house and, you know, he was yelling at you at the time that you were taking the test, you got kicked out of the test.
So basically, it has to record us physically taking the exam.
That's right. So you're going to have to keep your camera on at that point, and it also records the audio. So it's going to have you check. It's going to have you check your audio. It's going to have you check your camera. It's going to have you check everything, right? So make sure you have clothes on when you're doing this, right? So don't do it naked, okay? And you know, this is one of the prices that we have to pay, you know, because we have to do everything at home now, and you know, we don't have a classroom to do it. Now, if you can't do this, or if you feel this invade your privacy or anything like that, don't worry about it. We can set up Proctor. And so basically what you'd have to do, you have to go to what we call a proctoring center. You pay for it because you've had to make these special arrangements done. So you'd be responsible for paying for that. We'd make the arrangements, you go into a proctoring center, and then there'll be somebody to watch you take your exam. But that has to be talked with me about. So you hit me up and then we'll make arrangements for that. Okay. Any other questions?
Will there be some kind of like schedule or list of like what readings are due each week and what assignments are due each week?
Yes, there will be. Right now there isn't because I'm still building it, right? I'm still trying to figure out where I'm starting, where we're going to go. I should have that all completed by this week. And so then that will be put up. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put them in terms of unit. So you'll get a unit, then the next unit, then the next unit. And I do that for 2 reasons, because I know there are a lot of you guys, you get anxious and you want to go through and do all of it at once. But sometimes things happen and I need to put in another unit in its place, something like that, especially in the beginning. So it gives me time to kind of figure things out up here myself before I start giving. Okay, but yeah, you will have a schedule, and that schedule is going to be flexible. As much as I like to say it's going to be this, things are going to happen. I end up like I get called into meetings. So I served on a hiring panel, and the days that were initially given to me had to change because one of the candidates ended up getting COVID. And then another one ended up getting COVID. So they said, well, we're just going to postpone it since we had 2 of the 5 candidates having COVID. And then ended up finding out a third one ended up getting COVID as well. They were all at the same meeting. So things like that happen. So then my schedule shifts. So that means that I'm not in class. So that means that other things. So you're going to have to bear with me, especially right now. Any other questions? No other questions? Okay, sorry I kept you a lot longer than I should have, but it was really nice meeting all of you. I saw some of those faces, those beautiful faces, and I'm looking forward to our first day of lecture.
It was nice meeting you too.
Thank you. You notice it was only Jesse who says that. Everybody else is like, I don't know about this.
Like, okay.
Okay, if there's no other questions, I guess I'll see you guys on Monday.